Comes in several brands. A baking sheet, toothpicks, and the old trusty popsicle stick. Now let's get started. Step one is choosing the color of the clay that you're going to use. I use different shades for my skin tones for my mini dolls. So today we're going to use this brown. Step two is conditioning the clay. Conditioning is preparing the clay by warming and kneading it, working it in your hands. That can take a long time. It depends on the humidity, how old the clay is. If the clay is very hard and dry. Because this takes so long, in advance, I started conditioning this piece. And still, today is a very dry, hot day. I need to condition it a little more. I do this so much that my hands hurt. But I enjoy making my dolls so much that I let my hands rest and then I get right back to making my dolls. At the beginning of the video, the angel doll is the largest doll size that I sculpt. This is one of these. That doll took the entire piece. Today, I'm going to divide it and I'll be able to make two dolls from one clay. I usually roll it into a big tube and then I just take my nail and visually divide it in half. Doesn't have to be exact. And our dolls are one of a kind. No two are the same. The sizes can't be duplicated. So that's two dolls. I'm going to work with this piece here. And periodically you still need to condition the clay. Step 3 is sculpting and molding my doll's parts. And this is how I do it. I take the clay and again I make like a tube. And one doll takes 2/3 of the amount of clay. So I'm going to visually remove 1/3 of this piece. That's the 1/3. I'm going to take the 2/3 and this is going to be the body and the head. Today I'm enjoying Jeffrey Osborne, one of my favorite singers, and I enjoy listening to his music. It's so soothing while I'm making my dolls. I take the popsicle stick, and the head is approximately 1/3 as well. I go all the way around, making an indenture that will be the neck of the doll. All of my dolls up to this point, with the exception of one, have been female dolls. And the way that I got started into making the dolls, my mom is 97 She has a porcelain doll that was her doll as a child. And it is made just like I make my polymer clay dolls. And one day I was looking at it, and it was a doll that we never played with. And I said, Mama, I think I'll try to reproduce that doll. And I started playing with the clay and came up with my own doll. And you keep working the clay. My mom's doll is approximately 3 inches from head to toe. My dolls are 1.5 inches to 4 inches from head to toe. And as I stated, no two are the same. Each one is different. Okay, that's the head and the neck. This is the body. My doll's arms and legs are hand sewn to the body. So I have to have a pocket for the hands and the legs to fit into the body. And this is how it's done. I kind of pull the body down. My sister gets on me all the time about making my dolls plus size. So I'm going to try to make this one a little thinner. And you press. And that's where the legs will fit in that pocket. And as you see, my nail print, my fingernail prints are in my dolls. Each one has a little part of me. Now, I press my doll down, and that gives a place for my doll to sit. And hopefully, if it doesn't fall over in the oven, it will be able to sit up when it's completed. Now, to distinguish the front from the back, I take the toothpick and make a belly button. So I know that's the front of my doll. Let's try to make her face and head a little oval. Okay, now I'm going to sit her right on the table. This third of clay, now that it sat there for a minute, needs to be conditioned. So I'm going to warm it up so I'll be able to sculpt the legs and the arms. Okay. And once again, I make a tube. It's just easiest for me. Once I get the tube, I divide it in half, just visually looking at it. Once again with my nail. And I separate those two pieces. Sometimes I combine the colors and create a color, skin tone that I like for my dolls. Okay? This is one of those halves. Again, I make a tube. I take that tube and just visually divide it in half. Twist it. Now at this point, Visually, I would like the pieces to be similar in size. But it's hand sculpted, so they're not going to be exact. So there you go. Those are my legs. I'm going to take it, roll it, and slightly stretch. Working it, trying to have it as smooth as possible, but my fingerprints are going to be there. And I kind of like that the craft of producing something by hand and having your actual fingerprints there. It's kind of exciting. Those are my legs. Now, remember the pocket that I made? I have to have a flat area on the leg to fit in that pocket. So I just slightly squeeze one end, and that is going to fit in that pocket. Now she has two legs, so I'm going to have to do this one as well. And just slightly press. Not too thin, because if it's too thin, it will break when you're sewing it together. So it needs to be kind of thick. And I just press it into the pocket just slightly. And I press that one into the pocket just slightly. And those are her legs. Now while they are there, I take a toothpick, and I like the round wooden toothpicks, but they are getting hard for me to find in my area. And I just make an indenture just enough to pierce the body, and I remove the leg, and then I take this all the way through, all the way, and I can feel the toothpick coming through the other side. There it goes. And it opens this leg. And then gently remove it. And I just make certain that this goes all the way through, so when it bakes, I won't have any problems. And I want her to sit up. Okay. And you see how this kind of bent? That lets me know that fits right on the right side. Well, my right, her left. Now, it's time to make the foot. And what I do is just take the other end and just slightly press up. Slightly press up. And there's the foot. Okay. And do the same with the left side. I'm going to press up. Press. There's the foot. Now I kind of want them to match and look similar, and not like I do in dance class. I have two left feet. I want her to have a right and a left. That's her feet. That's her legs. Now I take my baking sheet and I lay the legs so I'll know where they fit. That's the left, and that's her right. Press it up just slightly, and I can Press her body right into the sheet. Now this piece is going to become her hands and arms. Again, I make the tube and just visually I divide it in half. And I want, once again, just visually, I need the balls to kind of be approximately the same size. So one arm is not that much larger than the other, that much smaller than the other. That's my two balls for my arms and hands. Now, again, I make the long tube and I kind of stretch to form the arm. Uh-oh. Move my little leg back. I kind of stretch to make the second arm. And let's see if that is approximately the same size. Yes. Okay. Now, there's not an indenture on both sides like the legs, but they are going to be sewn the same way. So I have to make an indenture in the arm piece. Just slightly press because it needs to be thick. And that forms a little shoulder. Now I take my doll and as best I can, I center the arm right below the neck and press slightly. And this side right below the neck and press. Press. Then I take my toothpick. Let me get another one. That's why you need a stack of them. Okay, and I'm gonna press through to make the indenture. And carefully remove the arm on the right, and then go all the way through, left, and then carefully remove the arm on the left. Okay. Again, make certain that the hole goes all the way through. And press her to my baking sheet. This one I need to kind of make, there we go. Now, I need to make the hand. And what I do is put a bend in my doll's arms. And that's a little elbow. And then press to form the hand. Now my dolls don't have fingers. They only have a thumb. And that's the way that I like my dolls. Lost my toothpick. So I'm going to press into the indenture to form a little thumb. So there's my doll's hand. That's her little hand. I hope you can see it. And I'm going to do the same with this one for the opposite side, which is my right and her left. Okay. I'm going to give her a bend for her elbow. Bend for her elbow, and then I'm going to press to make the hand. Let me see if I can hold that so you can see it. There it is. Using my toothpick, I'm going to press to create a thumb. There it is. And that's her other arm. So there are her 2 arms, 2 legs. This is her head and body. And as I stated at the beginning, this is the first video in a 3-part video series. I use heavy button cotton sewing thread to sew the pieces of my doll together. Now I follow the instructions on the polymer clay and bake it. In my next video, I'll cover painting the face and choosing the hair after we sew the doll together. So I hope you will visit my channel again and visit my Etsy shop at etsy.com/shop/topchoicegifts. And if you have any gifting questions that I can help you with, ask me on Twitter at topchoicegifts. Have a blessed day filled with lots of smiles.